Welcome to the Real Estate Revolution Radio Show, designed to educate Missoula homeowners and home buyers how to navigate the uncharted waters of the current Western Montana real estate market in an educational, often edgy, and high-energy fashion with host Jason Baker. Jason will teach you all the secrets on how to win with real estate, from listing your property to purchasing investments. Jason has got you covered. And now, time for this week's episode of the Real Estate Revolution Radio Show with Jason Baker. Welcome to the Real Estate Revolution Radio Show with me, Casey, and in the studio with Jason Baker. Jason Baker, it's all about you. We want to know exactly what Jason Baker and your real estate team's all about.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, clearly they'll let anyone on the radio, right?
Anyone. 22 years for me now.
22 years on the radio, boy.
Yeah, look at those gray hairs.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, you're looking at the guy with more gray hairs than anyone in Missoula. But anyway, you know, one of the things that really drives our economy is real estate. And so the way that we've been doing real estate in the Missoula market for, since 2013 when we got in it here, and of course we were in mortgages before that, we're doing this. The purpose of it is to educate, the Missoula area, Western Montana home buyers and home sellers how to navigate the uncharted waters of this market.
Yeah, and it's a very complicated market.
I spent half the day just talking to people about trying to figure out, what's going on in the market. So I said, what better way than to get, thousands and thousands of listeners just to know, and then they can take that information and spread it around. And, education is key, because think about it. This is one of the biggest investment people make. It's where most of their assets are tied up for people. And it's a huge decision, when it comes down. So it's just important to just be educated, I think. And so that's, what we're going to do here. It's going to be edgy. It's going to be high energy. I don't have a slow bone in my body. I think it will be revolutionary. We're like, I know you and we're like the opposite of boring. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I know my wife probably
thinks. I don't think my fiance would say the same
thing.
But
my wife's like, I've heard all your jokes like 500 times, That's just the way that goes. But, we want to talk about listing your property. We want to talk about how to purchase property, ongoing investments, mortgages. There's just going to be so many cool guests, powerful guests that we bring in from around the country to talk to us locally about, how to make wise decisions and investments and things like that. So, yeah.
How long have you been in the business?
Well, based on the gray hairs, an awful long time. So, but thanks for asking. So, in 1999, when I got out of the University of Montana here, my friend had started I was working part-time selling cars at Flanagan's, way back when, poor Shannon had to put up with me when I was a kid. But I saw him the other day, and he's like, "You made it. You survived."
He's all grown up.
Yeah, I know. He's all grown up. Look at him. And actually probably doesn't recognize me. I've gained so much weight, but anyway, it's okay. I was skinny at one point in time. I just want you to know that.
Ditto.
Isn't that? What happened? I don't know.
Stopped growing up, started growing out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's unbelievable. I'm really good at that. If there's one thing I'm really good at. But so I went from that. My friend opened up a mortgage company there in the First National Bank across from McDonald on Brooks. And we started working in mortgages in 99, really, I guess I would say 2000, November of 99 is when we first sat down and went out and bought desks, and it was really exciting. And I just started in the mortgage business, and I did mortgages from 1999 all the way up until 2009. When 2007, 2008, 2009 is when 90% of all mortgage brokers they called it the implosion of all the mom and pop mortgage brokers, which is where I worked for. So it was interesting. And from there I went off and I said, I tell everybody, I said I had 4 or 5 nonprofit businesses, and they weren't 401c3 nonprofits. They were just businesses that didn't make any money.
Yeah, right.
Failure. Yeah, I know. Yeah. And believe me, my poor wife, she's like, that didn't work. That didn't work. But such is the life of an entrepreneur, right? I don't know that you can be an entrepreneur with a bunch of failure, under your belt, and it just becomes normal. The faster you fail, I find in life, the better off things are. It's just getting used to that, you know. So, but I don't try to do it on purpose, by the way.
No?
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, I don't try to. So from the mortgages, what we started doing is and I don't mind sharing this because I think some people can relate. When I was basically in between, 4, 5, 6 mortgage companies during that whole implosion thing. And our whole mortgage pipeline dried up, and we fell into, my wife and I, and thankfully we didn't have kids at the time, into some financial hardship. And again, some people get embarrassed about that, but this is just, we're human beings. Things aren't always amazing.
Ups and downs.
It is ups and downs. And when you can share those and be comfortable sharing those, I think what happens is, A, you have an appreciation for the good times. That's for sure. And I think that's really important. But B, you can share that experience and go, hey, don't do this. Mm-hmm. so a lot of this is going to be don't do this, right? Mm-hmm. This the kind of stuff on the show. So I started so we short sold our house. Okay, we were in Bozeman at the time. We had an office in Bozeman, an office in Missoula, and we short sold our house, and we went through that whole entire loan modification process. And from that experience, which was horrible for my wife and I, my wife and I did a short sale software and a loan modification software that helped homeowners keep their house, or if they just couldn't make a payment because they were unemployed and their bank was about to throw them out. Which happened, as you know, many times back then, the foreclosure crisis.
The big bubble bust.
Yeah, the bubble busted, right? I mean, there's places that lost 50% of their value. Even, some places here did that, especially in the higher end homes. And so what ended up happening was we created this software, and we created this educational program where we went around and we helped thousands of homeowners through our software and the people that we coached. Probably tens of thousands, either not lose their home or be able to get out of their home gracefully without getting thrown out.
Wow.
And actually sell their home, actually walk away with a little bit of money from the bank or whatever else. And that was one of the greatest, things I ever did. Now, of course, every good thing comes to an end because, of course, we were through all of that inventory by 2012, 2013. And once that, it's hard to sell short sale software when there's no short sales.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like a bad business plan, right? One of the nonprofits, right? It was great for a while, but then
dried up.
Yeah, it did dry up. Yeah, really quickly. So I started working at a local brokerage here in town. They're like, hey, why don't you come sell real estate? You know all the agents. You're helping.
Well, it's great. You had the background in mortgages too, so you knew the price tags and how to put it all together.
I did, yeah. And the funniest thing was, it's like I always used to make fun of mortgage brokers, and when or real estate agents when I was a mortgage broker, there's kind of like it's like the service department at a car dealership and the sales department. They're always kind of at each other, because I grew up around that when I was a kid, and it's funny because the shoe is on the other foot, as they say. So now I'm a real estate agent and I'm working with mortgage brokers. So it was funny. But having that background was really good. And I started, selling real estate in August of 2013 in Missoula.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's just been kind of the natural progression of how things have been going for you, though. Right?
Exactly. We were very blessed. We like for me. This show is about other people, but so that they understand who I am.
Yeah.
For me, one of the things is that work ethic is one of the things that we have. Mm-hmm. And work ethic, I believe, is one of the most important things in the world. I can teach anyone how to sell real estate if they, have a real strong, desire to be successful and a real strong work ethic. I can teach them the paperwork. I can teach them how to call the leads. I can teach them what to say, but I can't teach out work ethic. But we started in real estate in 2013. I think in our first year, we were fortunate enough to help 50 families in our first year, which is, and I don't say this in an egotistical kind of way, because I believe every gift or every positive thing I have comes from the Lord. That's for sure.
Right.
Okay. And so he blessed me with that work ethic and with these systems and the people around me and my administrative team and then my first buyer's agent to be able to, close 50 transactions in that first year. And
that's great, right out of the gates.
Right out of the gate, it's almost unheard of. But again, it's just that work ethic, that positive attitude, and of course, I had understood the mortgages and things like that. Well, then the issue becomes, well, how in the world do I go and scale this so that while we're doing that high volume, how do I go and scale this thing into a successful business that people actually like transacting with?
Yeah.
And that's where the whole concept of, and it's becoming more and more popular now, as people realize you cannot do 190 things when you're going to sell a home or help someone purchase a home all by yourself.
Yeah.
So you do this thing called the team.
Yeah.
So everybody that's been listening to this radio station for a long time has heard of the Jason Baker team.
Yeah.
I'm nothing without my team.
Right.
And that's a fact. I'm just the mouth, as you can tell.
There ain't no I.
Yeah, there's no I in team. Yeah. No kidding. There's so many funny jokes around that. Some of them I won't repeat here. But anyway, but we don't want to get fined on our first show, right? Yep. But the fact of the matter is that we just started this great team, and we're just so lucky. There's 10 of us now, and every day we're trying to improve the real estate experience for people in and around the area.
Yeah. Well, I have been in the market. I've been looking into either, I guess I'm the one that needs to be educated because I really want to learn more about when and how and why should I list. If I want to sell my place and I want to purchase another place. Like we said, it's a very complicated landscape we have to navigate here, especially in Western Montana these days. So I want to learn more about that, and we're going to do that after we come back from a quick commercial break.
Awesome.
You're listening to Real Estate Revolution Radio with the Jason Baker team. We'll be right back.
Hey, if you are in the market to make the most money for your home, Sean Hannity here with some important advice. Now, look, I'm an active investor. I have bought and sold a lot of properties in hot, cold, moderate markets. And one of the lessons I have learned is this: hire the agent that knows how to create the most demand for your home. Now, if I needed to create demand in this market, no question, there's only one real estate agent I trust if I needed to sell my home. I'm talking about Jason Baker of Rise Realty, Montana. Now, Jason can give you an instant cash offer, or with his accelerated demand program, well, he turns up the marketing and gets you the most money for your home. While the average agent sells a home or two every month and only spends a couple of $100 on marketing a year, Jason spends thousands of dollars every month to attract thousands of buyers. Now, that helps you generate multiple offers and sell your home for the most money possible. Now, anyone can give you a home evaluation. Call the agent that creates the most demand. Call Jason at 552-4443. Online, jasonbakerteam.com. That's jasonbakerteam.com.
It's time to navigate the uncharted waters of the current Western Montana real estate market. Let's get back to the Real Estate Revolution Radio Show with Jason Baker. And we're back, the Real Estate Revolution Radio Show with the Jason Baker team. Got Jason Baker here. And Jason, I want to know more about the complicated landscape that is the real estate market. I have been a homeowner for 7 years now. I was a first-time homeowner. I bought in 2015 in the Bitterroot. Got just an adorable little starter home, a little itty bitty little 900 square foot starter home. And when I bought the place, I had a 3-year-old. Well, now that house is progressively getting smaller and smaller, the bigger and bigger the kid gets, and so I'm getting itchy, and I'm looking to possibly list and sell. But I'm concerned, should I list and sell with the market as it is now? And if so, when should I list?
It's a great question. I think if we're honest, for those people that we haven't put asleep yet, you know what I mean? I think if we're honest, what you're saying is you need a bigger pantry because you have about a 10-year-old right now.
Yeah. So the grocery bill is going up, and I hope the mortgage doesn't go up.
That's right. Much. Yeah, the grocery bill. I'm both of my kids, it seems like they've grown up. Ethan's 11 and Cassie's 8. So it's I think they both grown a foot, and it's like I'll find them I'm like, how is it they eat from? I don't know if I did this to my mom or not, but they just eat nonstop. I'm going to have to put an egress window in my pantry because it's like a 6-bedroom. It's holy cow. But anyway, all right. Well, it's a great question that you bring up, and it's so common. The biggest thing that the number one objection I hear right now, Casey, is I hear Jason, I'm not going to list until the grass is green and the daffodils are coming up.
Until the garage sales start popping up.
Yeah, until the garage sales. And I'm going, gosh, oh, goodness gracious. It's that's 30-year-old advice, okay? And so for me, it's when I hear that, and no offense, I just hear the seller going, Jason, I just want to lose tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars off the sale of my house. That's what I hear in the back of my mind.
Wouldn't it be great if I could lose some money right now?
That's right. I just intentionally want to sell my house for less money. And I say that, again, no offense. Jason, I willingly want to wait until there's 4 times more homes on the market to sell my home, or where my home just gets lost in the shuffle.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, wouldn't that? Yeah, super smart. And then, Jason, I don't want my house to stand out from the competition whatsoever. I want it to get lost in the shuffle. So anyways, but there's really no truth to the house sells more for more money in the summer. I think what I hear people saying when they say that after as many years as we've been doing this and nearly 700 transactions under our belt, I think what they mean is, Jason, I really don't want the U-Haul truck to pull up or the, two men in a truck to pull up when there's 1.5 feet of snow in my driveway. Right. I don't want to slip on it. I don't want to move stuff out.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and it's a great question, that you had. So the first thing that we want to look at, and it's like economics 101. When the inventory is super low right now, I mean, if you look at the inventory in Missoula County right now, you're at the county. Right. You're at about 70 homes for sale in the whole
entire county.
That includes Celia Lake, and I love Celia Lake.
Yeah.
We do quite a bit of business. Actually, we just put a listing live up there, a land listing for 30 Grayling, by the way. So, but we'll talk more about that later. But it's one of those things where the amount of homes for sale dictates the amount of showings that you have, and the amount of showings that you have, because they're not spread out over 400 of them, amount of showings that you have, the more showings, the more offers. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah. So
more competition.
Exactly. So inventory is, again, so just under 70 homes in all of Missoula County. Ravalli County is only about 100 active homes right now. These are single families, not commercial, not land.
Yeah.
But can you imagine a normal market is 400 to 500. Semi-limited, like last year, there was probably a couple hundred. And so we're so much coming into the winter, we're so much lower right now that it's a really opportune time. But when the inventory is limited, it allows the seller to dictate to the buyer more of the terms that they want. Okay, if that makes sense. Yeah. Because the buyer doesn't have a lot of choices, and so therefore they have to listen to what the seller says.
A little more even ground.
Yeah. So if, it could be like, everybody has a punch list.
Yeah.
We were kind of talking before the show, like everybody has a punch list of things that they think they need to do on their home. Mm-hmm. Well, when there's only 25 homes for sale in Missoula, okay, and maybe the same down in Hamilton, let's just say, do you really have to do those things?
Yeah.
I mean, do you think you could maybe get by? Do you think that nail hole, from that AC/DC poster, do you really have to repaint the bathroom? The answer right now is no. Yeah. But there's some people who just love to paint and love to fill holes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
They watch HGTV.
They watch HGTV.
All the time.
Absolutely.
24 hours.
Farmhouse style, baby. So I know, it's just like, I know when I see, that's almost like a Zestimate, watching those shows. So that's about how real those two things are, So when the inventory is limited, the seller can just dictate more. Showings are going to be more concentrated across fewer listings.
Right.
And like I said, way more listings means way more offers. I mean,
more showings mean more
showings, more offers.
Yeah.
It's like, it's almost like sometimes I think they're going to have like fist fights in the front lawn, barreling over each other. We just put one live 2 days ago. The first showing started at noon today out in Target Range. And already we have 15 showings scheduled every 30 minutes on the 30 minutes. And I'm seriously going to need to go over there and borrow an undercover police car and just sit there and make sure they're behaving.
That's your security.
Yeah, that's my security. Yeah, it's pretty scary. Pretty scary. If I'm your security guard, all bets are off. Something's wrong.
Right.
Yeah. Call the real cops. Yeah. So showing's going to be more concentrated now. The number one, and you're probably concerned about this too, Jason, I think it's going to be easier to sell my home, but it's going to be really hard to find something else.
Well, I see the dollar signs from the value that's gone up. Yep. Obviously there's big dollar signs in my eyes, but am I going to be able to carry that over into another property? Yeah,
you really are. And there's more to look at there than just the equity of the home. Really, when you're moving, you can definitely take advantage of the market, but the question always is, where are we going to go? And one of the things I always tell people is, right now, because there's so few homes for sale, and you can dictate to the buyer basically as a seller what you want. Okay, and we're going to have a show where we tell buyers how to win as well. So this is more of a seller, seller focused. But it's like they can tell the buyer, okay, look, I'll let you buy my home for X amount of dollars. Okay. After all the fighting happens and all the multiple counteroffer and it sells for 60, 70, 80,000 or 100,000 over. Okay. I'll let you know that you can buy my home and for what price, but I'm not moving, and I'll close, and it can be yours.
Yeah.
But I'm not moving out until me and my daughter or
have
me and
another
my kid
place.
Have another place.
A monkey doesn't let go of one tree limb until he has a hold of another one.
Well, he can. It's just not really advice. It's not good. It'd be kind of funny, like put on YouTube. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's one of those things where. So we had a client down in just a great couple, older couple, and they were petrified that their house would sell quickly, and they were actually building a new home.
And they'd be on the streets or something.
9 months later, they were still there.
Huh.
Yeah. So why? Because that person wanted to be in that subdivision because I believe it was their family lives there nearby, that they were willing to wait somewhere else or live with their kids for a little while till they could move out. So you can dictate your move out date even if you close.
That's great.
Because here's the thing. We're going to have more inventory like we do every spring, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so since we are, you can sell now, not have a contingency, and tell them when you're moving out, not before. And that's subject to the seller finding suitable housing. Like I'm not moving out until I'm not living under Buckhouse Bridge.
Yeah, exactly.
Pigeon's awesome.
That has been the nightmare that I've had, though.
There's a huge flock of ducks living under Buckhouse Bridge right now. It'd be fun, but it's not advice. But it's one of those things where you can say, hey, that's my move out date. But then when you go to buy, you don't have this contingency.
Yeah.
Because if these houses have 20 offers on them, why is that seller going to want to choose your offer if you have a house to sell? Get that done first. Stay in the home. It happens every day. We have clients doing it now.
Yeah.
And then when there's more inventory, more to choose from, when there's more inventory, you might get a better deal, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of the big reasons why we're trying to convince people to do it before there's 3 to 4 times more inventory this spring.
I always thought I had to sell and rent.
Yeah.
I would have to sell and rent, but that was terrifying to me.
No, we're not. We're now. Some people say, Jason, I want to go ahead and I want to rent. I'm okay with renting for the next year or two until this whole, this bubble bursts, if it ever does. There's no sign that it will right now, but if it ever does, they're like, I'm okay to wait in a rental. Okay, I want to take advantage of it now. It's just too uncertain. These rates have gone up almost 1.5 in the last month or so.
Yeah.
So, and that's another thing too. Like if you're going to buy another house and you're going to be financing it, think about that. The difference on 1.5 interest rate is
it's a chunk of change.
Oh, well, I mean, would you like to have an extra $600 or $700 in your pocket every month?
Exactly.
You would?
No, of course. Who wouldn't? I'm saying that's a big chunk of change.
That's a huge chunk. Yeah. I mean, so it's like, what if the rates are...
That's a brand new hunting rifle.
Now we're talking. Yeah. And we could do a whole nother show on that.
I know, right?
Or 10.
We just refer to it as reverts in price with how many hunting rifles you can buy.
Absolutely. It's like, it's great advertising. So I know, gosh, it's like, how do you hunt and work? It's like your two loves.
Right.
Yeah. Who wins that? I'm not sure. Figure that one out. Let me know. But that's the big thing too, is that the people who sell now are going to have a lower interest rate than the people that sell then.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I did not know that was a possibility to do that. Is it with as many offers as that come in all the time? Is that something that is, like you said, people are doing it now?
Yep.
But being able to stretch it out, I always feel like someone's offer is always going to beat mine.
Yeah, well, it's the truth, and it's especially when you go to do this. Okay, when you're
especially
ready,
with cash deals rolling around.
Yeah, you have cash deals. So how's a financing deal going to compete with a cash deal?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, here's how: don't have a house to sell. Have already done that.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, make your offer super competitive.
Yeah.
And so there's people on our listings that offered $100,000 over and lost.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we've sold them for $110,000, $120,000 over asking price.
Yeah.
And that's nothing. I mean, on some
talk about a battle.
It's a battle. Well, admittedly, for the buyers listening, don't give up.
Right.
Because the thing is, if you give up, you could very well have a 5 or 5.5 or 6% interest rate before you know it.
Yeah.
I mean, these things are happening. So it's something that we really have to keep in mind is, it's not just what we make on our home. Yeah, because if you're selling high and you're buying high, but here's the deal. What's an extra 1.5 in rate? What's an extra 2 or 3 points on interest rate every month if you're financing? If you're going cash, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
just like with the ladies, I have a big fear of rejection.
You do. Well, yeah. Well, I can tell you that, like, every morning I go and make 20 or 30 phone calls, and the morning team, our whole team sits down and makes these phone calls because we're looking for inventory. You have to create your own inventory.
Yeah.
You have to call around and say, hey, would you be willing to sell your house? Would you be willing to sell your house? The market's great. Would you be willing to sell your house? And you get hung up on 30 times. But I said I had a lot of practice because I got rejected a lot in college.
Well,
I don't mind making my calls these days. So no is just enough. The other way you could do it too is you could pick up a phone book and just start dialing through it. You'll hear no all the time. You'll never worry about no ever again.
I was a telemarketer for years.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was, talk about rejection. I think that's probably where I got my fear of rejection.
I know. It's called call reluctance, and we all go through it, believe me.
It's the Real Estate Revolution radio show with Jason Baker. Jason, when we come back from our quick commercial break, I want to talk about your featured listing.
Absolutely. I'm looking
this
forward
week.
to it.
So we'll be right back right after this.
Hey, your friend Sean Hannity here with some personal advice for home sellers. Now, there are various companies or agents that will offer to give you cash up front for your home, but be careful. Now, often there are dramatically lower prices or hidden fees that the average person can miss, and that can cost you a lot of money. That's why I prefer to work with a great, smart real estate agent that truly knows the local market and can give me the best advice and put the most money in my pocket. I'm talking about Jason Baker of Rise Realty, Montana. Now, Jason can give you an instant cash offer, or with his accelerated demand program, well, he turns up the marketing and gets you the most money for your home. But more importantly, he can help you look at all the options with hundreds of potential buyers, and that creates demand for your home and helps your home sell at a price and deadline that you agree to, or he buys it. Don't leave money on the table. Talk to the only agent in town I recommend. Call Jason at 552-4443. Online, jasonbakerteam.com. That's jasonbakerteam.com.
It's time to navigate the uncharted waters of the current Western Montana real estate market. Let's get back to the Real Estate Revolution radio show with Jason Baker. All right, we're back with more Real Estate Revolution radio show with the Jason Baker team. And Jason, you have a featured property for us, I hear.
Every now and again, we take a listing, buddy. But yeah, we just listed an amazing property over in Target Range, right off of South there. It's 4566 Sundown Road. Okay, and you know how popular that Target Range subdivision is.
Exactly.
This thing is 4,700 square feet, huge house.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's a big house. And you've got 5 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. You've got the big main level, open there, big rooms, new carpet, which was great. That's what it needed. And then downstairs is basically a separate living area. There's a little kitchenette down there and everything. It's on an acre. It has a three-car garage and a humongous shop.
Wow.
Now, I try to talk to the seller and say, hey, do all those UTVs convey to the realtor?
Yeah.
And there was just a long silence after that.
What do you mean?
Yeah. I could not. I'm a great negotiator. I could not negotiate that. Yeah. No, it was a fat chance. But it's a great house. The lawn is awesome. Of course, I have pictures of the lawn. Of course, it's snow right now, like all of our yards, right? But it is a great house, and it's super rare that there's very little turnover in Target Range. And so really, that school system is super desirable. It's, out there in the county and stuff like that. So it'd make a great property for someone, yeah.
What was the address again?
The address on that is 4566 Sundown Road there in Target Range. Got another one, too. I just listed a 3.5 acre parcel up in Double Arrow in Sealy Lake. We do a lot of business up there. We love Sealy Lake, and we love the people up in Sealy Lake. It's 430 Grayling. It's got a little creek running through there, and it's just a beautiful setting right there in Double Arrow if anybody wants to build a great home. It's a nice lot there.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like we're getting low on time, Jason. But before we go, I want to hear if there's anything we got to look forward to next week.
Yeah. Next week, what we're going to be talking about, a couple things. We're going to be talking to one of our mortgage brokers. Okay. So we're going to be learning all about what's going on, the volatility, how that affects you when you're going to purchase a home and or buy a home. So lots of good data coming up there, and we'll be going over the programs that they have.
All right, Jason, anyone interested in getting in contact with you, what's the contact info?
Best contact info is go to my website, www.jasonbakerteam.com, or call me on my cell phone, 406-552-4443.
More Real Estate Revolution Radio coming at you next week right here on Newstalk KGVO. We'll see you then.